Hey guys, welcome back. Hope everybody had a great and restful week. If you could, make sure that your cell phones are off, your door is closed, the do not disturb sign is on the door, and make sure you're nice and relaxed to sit back and have a little more fun like we did last week. If I could everybody here just give me a green check to make sure that you can hear me okay and you see that the red recording button is on? Thank you so much. All right, let's talk a little bit what we did last time. Last time we talked about blended learning and its effects in the classroom. And we talked a lot about how faculty and administration feel about e-learning and its effectiveness in the classroom. And I talked a little bit about can blended learning be utilized for every age range. Today's objectives, as we see here, we're going to be discussing how the online community differ from the face-to-face classrooms. We're going to determine how assessment is effective with e-learning and how assessment and online discussions occur at the primary school level. And lastly, I'm going to discuss how a case study with cell phone usage can be beneficial and detrimental to students learning in the school. So before we get started, I have a little bit of an icebreaker here. I want you all to have your talk buttons on and your video buttons on and use the white button. Whiteboard is either with the pen or typing as much as you want. I have a little puzzle for you to try out. I want you to work together to find 3 possible solutions to this math problem and work together to discuss the strategies you could use to solve this problem.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to put a timer up here for just 2 minutes and do the best you can. There's 3 possible solutions. After you're done, I'll go over the 3 solutions. The mics are all yours, guys.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so do we just work from left to right?
I'm having problems finding the problem. What are they asking in the numbers there?
I think it's the all the numbers the ones, then you multiply times 0 to get 0, then you add 1. So the answer should be 1. So I think,
but there's no.
I'm not a math teacher.
But there's 3 solutions, so.
Oh, there's 3 solutions? Okay.
Yeah, it says there's 90% of the people can't find all 3 solutions.
Chris, I don't like you.
Thank you.
So 1 plus 1, so 1, 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. Oh, that's simple. Why did I make that harder than what it is?
I have to say I give because I only can see one solution.
If we go across, it would be 5. If we go down, oh, you can't go down.
Oh, so would it be like each row would be its own solution or own number?
Sure, 5, 5, and 1, or maybe we add a line, or maybe we can add things to it. Like if we add a line after the first 2, then it'll be 5 plus 5. I don't know.
You're on the right track.
I like the 3 answers, 5, 5, and 1.
So each line is its own solution?
I'm thinking we have to add something more to it. There's something missing that needs to be.
Can I bring my husband, the math guru? He's in the room and have him help us.
Guys, time's up.
We're out of time. Dang.
Sorry, guys. I could see you're really starting to get into that there. I'm going to show you quickly here what I did with our wonderful little tool here. You are on the right track. I like how you really used the 5 going across the side. It's not letting me do it now. You did 5 right here, 5 right here, and you did 1 here. So what is the solution if you add all 3 of those up?
11.
11.
11.
Now, if you do the old-fashioned way, the way I was taught, and I'm guessing most of you were taught too, you follow the order of operations, which means you have to multiply before you add.
What?
You have to multiply all these before you add. So if you multiply 1 times 0, you get 0. And then you add them all up, and you're going to get 11.
Oh, okay.
And the last solution is if you go straight up and down, adding up straight up and down, you get 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. You get another column of 3, another column of 3. The fourth column would be 0 because you're multiplying by 1. And the last column would be 3. So that would be 12 as well. So the solutions would be 11, 12, and 1. Nice job, everybody. Excellent job. I hope you had fun with that. Okay, we're going to start with the exploration phase, and we're going to talk a lot today about the online community and what makes it different from face-to-face. And from what we learned is the transactional distance is the biggest barrier that we actually deal with. The transactional distance deals with the learner to teacher and the learner to learner distance. And what is really basically the problem is the distance makes the learner feel as if they are not part of the classroom. Whereas a face-to-face classroom, they feel a connection, a personal connection with the professor. Another problem is you see a lot of shared interaction is very limited on an online environment, and face-to-face it seems to be more comfortable solution. There has to be a lack. One way to break this barrier, as you guys just experienced a second ago doing the icebreaker, is through video conferencing. You guys were able to see people's expressions on their face. You're able to see the interaction with the other person just as if you were in a face-to-face classroom. It bridges that barrier and allows you to feel part of the community to solve a solution together. You'll be able to, with a professor doing the same thing, you're able to build a rapport with the student. You want that student to feel as if they're part of that classroom community, even if it is in a virtual setting. The other thing that really is a barrier is the learner-to-learner experience is really limited as well. Unless you have email, chat, discussion boards, or breakout sessions like we've experienced already. Also, when you have these, the student feels more connected, more part of the classroom. In your experience, which of the descriptions below describe your online educational experience? Let me set up the poll right here real quick. Which one of these describes your online experience? Now, it can't just be this class. It could be any class that you've had in the past. Okay, I see everybody really pretty much agrees. None of the above. I will admit I've taken a lot of online classes, and there has been times I really felt isolated from people in the class. I felt the teacher has dictated the experience and lectured too much, and I really didn't have much interaction. It was more like a drive-in experience. You know, here's my order, give me my food, and you're out of here. And versus, you know, a sit-down experience at a restaurant where you can really interact with the server or the people surrounding you. And I think that, you know, as we've progressed through our experience in online classes, you really feel like a sense of community. I've really felt that way with this class as well with you guys. And I really think that as we become, you force more social interaction, as you guys have seen, you're going to have a better collaboration with the people in the class. Next we're going to talk about is assessments in online communities and how do they differ from face-to-face. You know, all of us have experienced the face-to-face experience in the classroom where you really have a lecture, a test, a group activity, and you're able to really have a personal connection, or you're able to have an authentic assessment right in front of you. With an online class, it's a completely different experience. You really lack the proximity with the people in the classroom. You really don't have that feedback with the people, and you can't see that body language. You can't see if their face is like, oh crap, I just missed that one. What did I do wrong? You can't see that. All you can see is or hear their voice and their reaction to what they did. Another problem with assessments online is the trust and the authentication of the people in the classroom. Is there a sense of trust with that student, or is that really the student doing the work, or is someone else hopped in to do the work for them? So I think one way to really, the focus needs to be through a collaborative learning experience, which means a deeper understanding, and the metacognition awareness of the students continues throughout the whole entire classroom process. And the grade should be, I think, what I've learned is more of a collaborative experience, whereas I can see exactly what you did as a group versus everybody individual. Here's your individual grade. Now, there also is the importance of having an individual grade and your individual feedback as well. Another thing, excuse me, is when you have attendance and participation in the classroom. You want to have it so that, the students are aware that their attendance and their participation is also part of their assessment process. They have to be active to be part of the classroom so that they can build that, all three of those presences we talked about in the previous classes, the social, the teacher, and the cognitive presence. So, is online assessment geared more to individual growth or more collaborative growth? What do you guys think? Type in the chat box below. Okay, I see a little bit of difference here. Why do you think it should be more individual, Renee?
I think it's more individual, because you're usually alone doing it. The only time you really have interaction is when you are put in a group, or if you have a discussion forum that you have to post in. Typically you're by yourself, you're not.
Okay, I like that. Very good. Lana or James, hop on the mic. Why do you guys think it's more collaborative?
I actually think it should be both. And for example, the collaborative is when we do group activities. So you can assess people in that type of activity. So that would be the collaborative growth. And you can actually even follow that through the time of the course, also by looking at the group interactions and how well they work together, teamwork. Okay,
awesome. James, you have anything to add?
I kind of felt the same, that actually any class, face-to-face or online, is geared towards the individual learner generally. Certainly, in a face-to-face, it's more there's more social interaction during the class and so forth, and students may be able to create study groups and that sort of thing. Online, it has to be that collaboration has to be incorporated into the design of the class if it's going to be there.
Excellent. Both excellent responses. I have to agree with all three of you. I think that it has to be somewhat individual because you are getting the grade, not the group. I do agree with Renee there. And I also agree with you guys that the collaborative aspect has to be there. So you want to have the students feel as if they're part of something bigger than just themselves in the classroom as well. I agree with that. Very good job. Do you think online assessments are a good idea or a bad idea? Do you think that they're good in what way, and what way are they bad? So if I had an online assessment, here is your test. Take it. Do you think that's a good idea, or do you think it's a bad idea? What do you guys think?
I think it can be a good idea because it depends. It really depends on the type of assessment. But it can be like a growth tool that you use to help people to understand a topic more deeply. But then you have to be careful because you don't want students to feel dumb. You want people to grow from the experience. So you have to be careful in how you develop the assessment.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think this is two two facets of assessment. One is to for the instructor to see how the students are doing, sort of low stakes assessments. And in an online class, basically you're stuck with that. That's basically the only way you have to do it. So whether good or bad, I think it's what we have. But the other aspect is the summative assessment at the end. And again, I think it's the way the online system works. I'm not sure there's an alternative to that, is there?
I have to agree with you on that. I don't know if there is an alternative yet. I think in the future, as we become more and more versed and the technology evolves more and more, I think there could be a better way to do a summative assessment. It may just not have happened yet. Do you have any input, Renee?
I was going to say they pretty much said about everything I wanted to say too, so I agree.
Excellent job, you guys.
Chris, I just want to make a point, too, with the assessment. Yes. It depends on your audience and what type of course you are teaching. The people that I would teach is mostly for professional development, so it wouldn't be for a grade, but it's for the understanding. So, again, it depends on the group that you are teaching, I feel.
You're absolutely right. I think you're exactly right, because I teach a younger age audience, so it would be much different than the audience that you're dealing with right there. Whereas mine would be for a grade, yours would be for deeper knowledge and deeper understanding to take back to their profession. I agree, totally. Next, we're going to hit the integration phase. How does it work at the primary level? Now, I've been teaching 5th grade now for 8 years, and what does assessments look like on the primary level? And it hasn't really ever been an online assessment issue until the last couple of years. And we have really utilized our little Chromebooks we have in our classrooms, so where the students can get online, their individual assessments can be based on their score on the assessment online for the specific subject involved. And what really has been fascinating is seeing the students grow with the technology involved. At first, when we first put the technology in front of them and gave the assessment to them, they looked like a caveman trying to start a fire. I mean, it was almost comical at times because they didn't know what to do. Not to be in a mean way, but it was shocking because all the technology that they deal with on a day-to-day basis, they couldn't bridge the gap on how to do it in a schoolroom setting. But now that we've done it for a few years, it's really been interesting to see the kids evolve to the point where I'm seeing them do things. I'm like, I didn't even know that could exist in that assessment, or how to use the tools like they do. And it's amazing because I teach, 5th grade math, and when I incorporate discussion boards and I have students, how did you solve this story problem? What was your thinking process? And having them post their discussions, totally anonymous, and that allows them to feel totally secure, even at their younger age, that they can voice their opinion on something as specific as how do I go about doing this, or I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what to do from here, and it allowed them to really collaborate together and see how their friends did it by still feeling secure and safe enough to post it on there, knowing that I don't know who user 754236 is in this classroom, and it's the whole 5th grade doing it. So it's really unique how it's really evolved, how it's worked in the online classroom. I give online assessments almost weekly. I no longer give a paper and pencil test because at the end of the school year, they don't see a paper and pencil test. So they have to see it. They're used to that setting of taking a test online throughout the school year. So what do you guys think? Is this something that should be implemented at this early age so that they're used to it at the college level, or do you think that the college level is going to ever get to that point, or do you think the primary levels are more advanced than the higher level education system is right now? What do you guys think?
I think a lot of education is heading online or blended, and the earlier we have students accustomed to this, the better. Things, as you said, things are going to evolve over the years, and what they learned in 5th grade may be very different than what they find when they get into high school too. But having some kind of grounding in that experience, I think would be a benefit.
Exactly, I agree. I think it's... Go ahead, Renee, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think the same thing. I actually, where I teach, I have mostly adults in mine, and I have people who are doing online assessments now that struggle with it just because it is online and it's not paper and pencil like they're used to when they were younger. So they have a hard time with it. So a lot of ours, you deal with a lot of that with students who, for one, can't really maneuver in it at times, and then others who just looking at the screen and being able to do it online, because all of my assessments are online, actually. So it's just a matter of being able to use that as a tool. So
Excellent.
And I agree with both Jim and Renee. I think it needs to start earlier. And what I'm actually finding is that the new nurses and new other clinicians coming in all expect to do everything online. They don't expect to have paper and pen, and they seem to function very well in the use of technology and computers. Much better than, say, people in their 40s, 50s, or 60s coming in who've been hired.
Excellent job, you guys. This kind of leads into my next topic, actually. I did a case study, and the case study was on, is cell phone usage in the classroom the new form of online communication? As you can see in the picture, this is from it looks to me like either a high school or middle school student hiding their cell phone. Is it the new form of online communication? We've learned about, the social connection and the blended learning and the cognitive thinking and the teacher interaction, the teacher presence in the classroom. Can cell phone usage bridge that gap? Can you see it being used in the classroom? From the article that I read, the case study that I read, you had 2 points of view. You had the faculty's and you had the student's point of view. And you saw the student's point of view like, yes, I feel more at ease when I can use my cell phone, whether it is to respond or look up information, to feel more connected in that way. Whereas the faculty responded by saying that should not be allowed in the classroom, that should not be used in the classroom. And I want to know, I'm going to break you out into rooms right here, and I want you to sit and talk about it for 2 minutes and come up with a couple ideas. Do you think it should be used in the classroom? Do you think this is the next step in blended learning? Or do you feel that cell phone usage should be used only as a social medium outside of the classroom? So if you could, hop on down to the breakout room. I have the page all set up for you. If you want to, you can use the whiteboard to write or type as much as you want. If you could, please use different colored text so I can see what each of you said. Okay, so I'm going to start the timer now. So hop on down to the breakout room.
Chris, I'm not able to move myself down there.
Okay.
I can't either.
Okay, see if that worked. Sorry about that. That should have worked. There we go.
Chris, can you help me? Because I can't remember how to do it. Wait a second. I think I remember now. Never.
Okay, guys, I'm going to pull up here, see what you came up with. I'm real excited to see what you got. I thought it was. Okay, got some pros and cons here. So what did you guys come up with for pros and cons? Vast. Okay. I know not long. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I know there wasn't a lot of time there to really discuss a lot, but what did you come up with for pros and cons?
One of our pros was being able to have quick access to information.
Okay,
for students
I would agree with that. Totally agree. Okay, what do you guys think about the cons?
And the con is that it's a distraction for the teacher, and that the students can chat with each other or use social media, so they're not really paying attention.
Okay, I would agree with you there as well. It is tough. I think it comes back to that trust issue with the online classes. If you have a student that has a cell phone, are they really paying attention to what the teacher's saying, or are they trying to get more information of what the teacher's saying? I guess it comes down to that communication and that social presence.
One thing I found, like with my people that I work with, is that they may be in classes, they're paying attention, but they're also answering email because they have to. But some people are able to do it really well, pay attention to class and answer. So I think it's really, in my role, it's an expectation that they do use their cell phones. Is that odd, or is that normal for other settings too?
What do you guys think?
I think at the professional level, in college and beyond, it's probably not that much of a problem. Probably in Chris's, world with K through 12, it's probably going to be a bigger issue. They'll be more likely to have distractions and be doing things that are not relevant to the class.
Yes.
I agree with you guys. We have a no cell phone policy at our school. So, but I also believe that, as you get older, you learn to multitask, like you just said a second ago. And yeah, you may have an important email that you're waiting on, and if your cell phone buzzes, and you have it on vibrate, and tickles your leg or whatever, and you have to respond to that because it may be a job-related issue, even though you're in the classroom. And I think that really boils down to that communication with the teacher involved, where you really have that rapport, and you build that, hey, the student's doing what they need to do in the classroom. If they need to answer an email or they need to get a phone call or respond to a text, that's fine. Just don't have it distract the entire classroom. Excellent job, guys. I'm sorry I kept you a little over today. I will make it up to you next time. Is there any questions or concerns that you guys have about this lecture? Okay, excellent job, guys. Make sure you have your reflection turned in by Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you guys for an amazing class, and I look forward to hearing your reflections. Take care.